thanks so much everyone for joining this webinar. I have with me today Hamza. He's dialing in from France, part of the Tevea team, as well as Matt, also joining from France. He's part of the VAT IT Compliance team. I'm actually quite jealous because you guys probably watched the Tour de France live. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm Richard, also part of the VAT Compliance team. And VAT Compliance in a nutshell is obviously what you see on screen here. There's a lot of numbers and whatnot, but we are a global compliance firm and we like to keep it simple and we like to solve our clients' problems. And that's as simple as that. I think we can get cracking into our agenda. The first thing we're going to look at in this webinar is what we've seen in the market so far in 2025. That covers what we've seen at the tax offices all around the world, as well as trends from our client side. And then what are we doing about that? How do we keep up to date? And how are we responding to those trends and the problems that our clients are facing? And then lastly, where are we going? I think there's so much movement in AI and technology these days. You always need to be one step ahead, and I think we'll have a great discussion around that. So let's go to what we've seen in 2025 so far. I think I would just give a quick overview on a few points there. That is e-invoicing, and additionally to that, e-reporting. I'm going to ask Hamza to expand a bit on that, and then we'll also have a look at advances in tax technology, as I mentioned, AI and especially integrations. And then also what we've seen a lot is outsourced partners and being an extension internally extension of an internal tax team essentially. So I think let me hand over to Hamza to start us off on the e-invoicing and e-reporting side.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for the presentation. Yeah, let's talk about e-reporting in real time because this is one of the biggest shifts happening in 2025, and no business can afford to ignore it. What we are seeing is very clear. There is a global acceleration. I mean, tax authority now expect an almost real-time reporting. And what does it mean for businesses? It means they need to adapt and to make a data flow automated. Invoices must be digital and compliant in order to ensure the end-to-end traceability. Yeah, in practice, audit and tax control becoming proactive, and tax office can focus on the data quality first. I mean, invoicing gives tax authorities the data they need to report and to organizing the e-reporting and pre-filled VAT returns. What's the challenge? The next challenge for everybody? So most of companies are still not ready for this big shift. So they very often underestimate the data quality. And this is the key of this topic. So businesses have to structure the data and get ready. Everybody already knows about this mandatory specific rules are coming, and many countries like in France are adopting new rules, and they are coming soon, like next year. Bottom line, e-reporting and invoicing are just compliance. They are not only compliance, they are also a strategic point. Companies must invest in the right tool and find the right partner to avoid penalties, but also to gain in visibility, speed, and operational performance.
think there are. I think there's a lot of uncertainty on e-invoicing and e-reporting in the market. And guys are trying to answer those questions using AI. I've seen a lot of clients, you know, when we have discussions, they'll say, "Oh, ChatGPT said this, and ChatGPT said that." So yeah, we're seeing a lot of that. And I think partnering with the right people for e-invoicing and e-reporting is very important. Partnering with ChatGPT is not really a solution for that.
But what we saw, Ricard, it's very important to understand this point. We saw big companies in France, like the main electronical company, or very big company, large units, business units are already ready. I mean, the next big problem will be for small companies and medium ones, and they need to understand what the data can do and what the tax office can do with the data actually.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I can actually speak to that on the data integration side. So what we've seen a lot is that, you know, big businesses all around the world, that they usually, you know, one step ahead in terms of implementing, you know, well in advance, and usually go in guns blazing with a lot of investment into big integrations. But what we've seen so far for medium-sized businesses, also global businesses, is the need for a low-touch, cost-effective way of integrating, and essentially testing the waters and finding a solution that then can be scaled. And I think on the AI side, what we've seen a lot over the past few years is that tax authorities are actually also adopting AI for monitoring, and also fraud detection. I think one of the tax managers mentioned today that one of the tax officers picked up irregulation in one of the on the returns using AI. So that is something that's gonna you know, get more and more adopted by tax authorities. And I think, yeah, we need to be ready and know what are they looking at and how are they looking at it. And then also our clients, as I mentioned, have started using AI a lot. And I think it's very difficult to control how staff members in businesses use AI. You know, it's very easy to put in sensitive data, etc. In the data, in the AI. But I think what we've seen a lot is guys don't really know how to explain the data and the changes that they made to the data because it was done using AI, which is causing a lot of back and forth between us and the clients. Yeah, so I think there's going to be a massive growth on this, and we've seen it already. Yeah, so I think in terms of our integration, we also have outsourcing, and I think Matt's gonna touch on that a bit.
Thanks, Ricard. And I think that this is probably one of the more exciting things that I do on a day-to-day basis. While Ricard and I, you know, look after a lot of the operations of both the VAT IT Compliance and Tevea businesses, something that's very close to everyone's heart in the business. I think from our tech team through to our MD, across the board, it's service and basically creating a great client experience. And what that means is I have the chance to collaborate a lot with, you know, in some cases, huge multinationals that have chosen to partner with us. And it's exciting to see how they are equally invested in having us really be a part of their own internal tax teams. In some instances, we have really the only difference is that we are not sitting in the same office, but we have the ability to speak to, you know, their various finance and accounting functions very transparently. honestly, they engage with us in such a way that we really are just an extension of their own business. And I mean that sort of looks at a few different ways how that happens. For the most part, we have a pretty, I'd say, robust process that our tax teams, our managed compliance offering sort of follows. But there are, we have other clients that choose to engage on a sort of more bespoke type basis, where really we sort of follow the processes that they've set out. And again, I think it just creates a lot of trust, scalability for our clients. Obviously, something that is incredibly important, and we've already spoken about a bit, is tax technology and all of these new sort of requirements that are coming up pretty much on a monthly basis at this point in time. And, when you have a large multinational that has 30 different entities, all with various local and foreign registrations, it's a lot to try and manage in-house. I'd argue that there aren't many businesses globally that operate with the budget necessary to actually have that expertise in-house. It's obviously you have professionals who focus on the EU, maybe a couple of different jurisdictions, but when you start covering 50 plus different countries, it's almost impossible to manage that entirely in-house. And I think, as I say, that's where this partnership is quite nice, because we've built this trust with our clients that they know they can come to us irrespective of where they may be opening a branch next or expanding their operations to, and they know that we are ready to assist. And I mean, I think that we have the right sort of culture in the sense that, yes, VAT compliance is our focus area, but we're fortunate to have a very wide sort of net of different partners. So be it for corporate income tax or transfer pricing, advisory, obviously, we can pretty much support across the board, or at least refer them to a reputable partner wherever they may be expanding to. And I mean, we see that through Asia and Africa, specifically where language barriers start becoming a pretty material issue. And all of that is obviously done through our team that we are continuously building and developing and training. And perhaps it's one of the lesser spoken things in the industry is just the need to be continuously at the sort of forefront of this expansion and making sure that you know what is happening in all these different jurisdictions at the same time.
I think Matt on outsource. The outsource topic is very debated in the industry, and I think one of the biggest items there is the transparency. That's why businesses don't really want to outsource or versus in-house, etc. And that is why it's such a big focus for us, is trying to make sure that our clients do not feel that there is things that they cannot see. I don't know what your comments on those things.
I agree fully. If I think back a decade, tax compliance was glorified Excel spreadsheets, and in this day and age, that's just not going to cut it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the other point that's, I suppose, we're going to speak about a lot today is being tech enabled. This is kind of a bit of a buzzword that our CTO once mentioned to me, and it's really stuck. And that is that basically, we want to have the best tax professionals in the world, but we also want to make sure that they are supported adequately by a solution that works. And for those of you that have sort of followed VAT IT for a while, you've probably heard of Abacus. For the clients that are joining today, you've probably used it. But the whole point of Abacus is it's really a purpose-built tool where we aim to have complete transparency. We want everyone to be able to see, exactly the status of a filing or a payment or an audit, even a new registration. It should all be sort of in one place. And I think that answers a lot of the transparency question around what's going on, because at the end of the day, our team and our clients can pretty much see the exact same things. And that's the sort of, control that I think is necessary to operate at that sort of level of integration. So
yeah.
For sure, it's totally important, and it makes our job easier as well. When I think about how we build out Abacus, that's all from the feedback of our tax team, who's on the ground on a day-to-day basis, dealing with different problems, etc. And
our clients.
And our clients, exactly. I think again, some of the clients that collaborate with us the most closely are. Again, we want to hear their feedback, and they know that, and we take anything that they mention very seriously, and we want to build out a product that answers not only our internal needs but also theirs. But now I've been rambling on for a bit. Apologies. I think that's sort of what we've seen, obviously, and then I think the next part of this is going to be what we are doing. So there's two major things here. That's the Tevea acquisition, which I'll speak about momentarily, and then also just tech-enabled and having a human approach in global compliance. So let me touch on the Tevea acquisition first. Obviously, one of the points that I've just mentioned, well, firstly, who is Tevea? Tevea, for those of you who don't know, they are a French established compliance firm, hence the reason that I'm here in Paris with Hamza right now. And they're a business that we acquired about 2 months ago. Very, very good reputation in the sort of compliance, reclaim, customs, advisory industry, focusing on VAT. And just a great brand to really have brought in. I think, of course, the offering is very similar to ours, but once we sort of arrived, we could clearly see that their focus points and the things that they consider important is actually very similar to what we think is important, and that is fantastic quality, great client service, and just an overall good experience, whilst maintaining the best professional sort of service offering that is possible. And what's probably the most exciting is the people that have come along with the Tevea acquisition. Really a team that has got immense expertise and experience in the industry. And this sort of touches on something that I mentioned on the previous slide, and that was basically the recruitment piece. Any tax team that is listening basically knows how competitive the market is, how difficult it is to find the right skills. And an acquisition like Tevea just makes so much sense because we've now bolstered our own expertise so drastically, through the acquisition, and it's gonna be fantastic. I think we are all really looking forward to bringing the teams together, collaborating, making sure that we're exercising our strengths, and so forth. So many things to come. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, because we are speaking a lot about IT and software and machine system, but people are very important. Human capital is very important in our business, in the VAT compliance environment. So yeah, you're right. Thanks, Matthew.
Yeah, something that actually came on with the Tevea side was smart checks, which is an AI thing. And I think that's something that I really want to talk about. Maybe Hamza can expand a bit more. You can maybe go to the next slide, and that is AI in tax compliance and what we're doing. So obviously, AI is all over the place, but how do you actually use that to have better compliance? And something that actually came through the Tevea side was the smart checks, which is listed there on the third item. So maybe Hamza, if you can explain a bit more on what you guys are doing.
Yeah, for sure. We are speaking about smart checks, but I can call it like an intelligent compliant automation. I mean, smart check is not only scanning invoices, it's more than scanning invoicing and using OCR. It's read and extract data from a document, and it's even smarter because we use the data and we can cross checks the information. But very briefly, I can give you some example. But if we have like an invoice, we can extract data and we can say if there is a key detail missing on the invoice, for sure this invoice won't be compliant for in a country. And because the rule is different per country, we have a different rule per country. And what I mean we can do a check with the system, with the machine, and we can identify where is a problem in the compliance, and we can work like this. So we're using it like almost every time. We can use it for the reclaim part, or we can use it for the compliance too. Yeah, very important to work with the machine. So we are in the digital age. So digital age means we have to understand what the system and what the machine can do for us, and probably stay more focused on the analysis and more focused on what we can add to the machine to go further, and then yeah, that's what we are doing here.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think so. We've also developed a couple of AI things internally, and it's going to be interesting how Tevea and VAT compliance, how everything looks after a couple of months. We also not recently, a couple of months now, we have an AI focused team that specifically is focused on building out AI for the tax industry, and how to help our clients, how to help our team as well on the managed service side specifically. So that's going to be very interesting. See what comes out of it.
Certainly. I mean, what we've seen is obviously it's very good helping us with data capture and transformation, but clearly limited in its ability to assist with any sort of technical questions. It'd be amazing if we could be the first people to really get it to a point that it's usable.
Yeah, of course. Okay, then another item I have on this list was the data integrations. I think that just closing the loop here is that obviously big businesses they have the means and the time and the capacity to essentially invest a lot into massive API integrations. And I think from our side, yes, we can do that, and we already do that for a lot of our very big clients. But we also offer the low-touch integrations, like with SFTP files that shared across the board with some automations. And I think that's like a testing period. So it's great to start seeing these integrations come alive with smaller and medium-sized businesses that actually want a little bit of more automation and integration into our systems with Abacus. Yeah, I think we can go to the next slide in terms of where are we going, and I think I'm going to have it over to Matt here.
Thanks. Sure. So I think as far as where we're going, ultimately it sort of remains aligned with what our focus areas have been for probably the last 2 years now. And that really is staying at the sort of forefront on both the, ever-changing sort of tech requirements and how we can, always have the best products available. I think about easy a lot there, and the different e-invoicing mandates.
E-invoicing.
Exactly. For those who don't know, it's our platform that handles e-invoicing and digital reporting. And we always have to be changing and adapting because, as we've seen, these mandates are somewhat flexible. Deadlines are always changing. We have to continuously reprioritize. But the point is that we have a pretty long roadmap because of that, and we can continue building a great product. That is one part of it. But of course, at the end of the day, it's staying true to our values, and that is looking after client service, making sure that we are truly the partner of choice in the industry, and doing anything in our power to stay in that sort of that mindset and instill it across the business. And again, looking forward to seeing what curveballs come our way, because I know that we'll always deal with them as best possible. All right, I think can we move on to the next slide?
Yeah,
And
because
here,
we have a quick and crucial reminder regarding the VAT refund deadline. Yeah, all the information are on the slide, so I won't tell it more. But what can I say then? What can we see? We still see company are leaving money on the table because they start too late the process, the VAT refund process, and yeah, sometimes company wants to do a VAT reclaim by ourselves, but yeah, we are here to find the right way to get the refund. We can't wait September or end of September to act. The time to act is really now. So please feel free to contact us if you have a foreign VAT refund to organize, and we are available.
thank you, Hamza. All right.
All right, and then I think, yeah, final thoughts. Obviously, we've spoken about all of these items, the e-invoicing and e-reporting side, and then that's something that's coming, and we need to be one step ahead. The same with the last item on that list, and which is the reclaim side, so September deadline. I think we can go on to Q&A, see if there's any questions that came through. Let me just check over the side. So I think, okay, so we have one here. The first one is, why are tax authorities implementing e-invoicing mandates? I'm guessing that would be in the EU and, well, globally. I think maybe Hamza can take that one.
Yeah. Main topic in this for this question is the VAT gap. Everybody knows there is a VAT gap everywhere. So the main goal of the tax authority is to increase the tax transparency, and reduce the VAT fraud actually. And yeah, what I mean is they're applying like e-invoicing for companies, and the direct consequence of this is they can have a real-time reporting, and then they can auto-fill the VAT return and find if there is fraud somewhere. Yeah, that's the main part of the implementation of the invoicing. I mean, tax authorities are very, very volunteer to do that, and some countries are just looking at the other ones to see what's happened next. And some countries are very active on this topic, like Brazil, Portugal, France is coming too, and Germany is looking at France to say what's next for this business regarding the invoicing. But yeah, point is Europe is a huge market, and e-invoicing is not like a weird word. Everybody should know that, and company should be compliant, because the tax office is ready, and yeah, and AI is everywhere too. We spoke about human, but machine too. So machine is everywhere. Yeah, main key. What can I say is the main key, and everybody have to understand that the main key is the data, quality data.
Oh, no, of course. There's a lot of questions coming through now, so I think I'm just going to take one more, and then maybe the rest I think we'll answer on an email back to everyone, Penny, and then we'll organize that. So let's take the last question. I think we're going already over time. So the question is, why does the API integration require large investments? So I think I'm just going to answer that question. I think providers like Avalara, Vertex, and other software providers, they offer a proper platform, but they don't support it with a lot of managed service. So they don't have the people to assist the team. And I think why it's such a large investment is essentially that you would need to buy the platform, but then you would also need to bolster your in-house team to an extent that you have proper professionals within the business running the software. I think that's why it's a very big investment compared to us or other managed service providers that offer the people as well as the software. And I think that's the main distinction there. We've seen a lot of clients actually move from platform-based in-house teams to an outsourced setup with us, whereas you get the software Abacus, which is also available in most countries globally, but then you also get the dedicated person that can assist from a service point of view and a software point of view. I think and obviously also the low touch integration, so with SFTP files, which makes it a little bit more flexible, and us being able to adapt to whatever process the client follows compared to other providers that there's a set way that it needs to be done.
One more thing on that, Richard, is I've also noticed I suppose many of our clients are not fond of the idea of having API integrations directly to their ERPs. So there's quite a, I suppose, significant data privacy question being asked there. There's a lot of control and expertise required to make sure that you're only showing the information that you'd like to. And that's definitely a huge talking point with these full suite sort of tech solutions.
There's a last question here. I think it's quite a short one, so maybe it's Hamza. So the question is Smart Check, so the Smart Check one for the AI side, is it being used to inquire about a specific country's tax regulations and requirements in order to determine if a VAT registration is needed? I'm guessing that's on the thresholds.
Smart checks are everywhere. I mean, we can use it, and tax office can use it. I will give you a very, very short example. If you're providing your activity to a tax office, the tax office will for sure ask some question regarding your activity, and then they will just have a look on what your activity, where is the risk in your activity. I mean, just this point, when they're asking your activity and they put you in the case and they're asking you a few questions regarding a specific case, everything is automated in the tax office. So I mean, there is not a personal people like I saying, okay, we're gonna control this company. No, everything is automated. So smart checks are everywhere actually. And it's not specific to one country. You can find it in every country. I mean,
I think that the answer is then yes, essentially. If tax authorities are implementing AI to look at transactions, bank statements, etc., to determine if the thresholds are breached for activity in specific countries. So I think that covers that piece. I think we're a bit over time already.
I think we've run over.
Yes, we've run over.
So let's wrap up. In short, I can see that there are a lot of questions specifically regarding Poland coming through. Don't worry, we will come back to these over email, and we'll share the slide deck to all of the attendees as well. But other than that, thank you to everyone for joining us. I know it was short and sweet, but always nice to discuss things that are happening in the market, and we love to speak with our clients. With that being said, let's call it there, and we will see you at the next one.